Post-match chat with chaps for that Millwall podcast where it's just finished at the Den. Millwall 1, Leicester City 0. That is huge. What a performance. In my opinion, the second half was the best we played all season. We've beaten the team top of the league after losing to two of the bottom three in the space of 8 days. I mean, if that's not Millwall, I don't know what is. I didn't see that result coming at all. I didn't see the performance coming, and I'm still absolutely buzzing. I've literally just got home and I'm recording this straight away. I had to jump on and do this because I'm absolutely buzzing, as I'm sure all of you are. But it was definitely a roller coaster of emotions throughout the game. And even before the game, when I saw the lineup, I think, a lot was made of Harris's comments. He talked about that we were going to come out swinging against Huddersfield. Personally, after watching it back, I don't think we did. Thought we were very poor. Then he talked about certain players. He alluded to certain players maybe not putting in a shift. He then talks about picking a side that will run through a brick wall for him. And then he picked the same team that played against Huddersfield. And you're thinking, well, that doesn't really make sense. But he would live and die by that decision. And it turned out to be a superb one because, to a man, every single player tonight gave it their all. They played out of their skins. Leicester looked bang average. The reason they looked average was because we made them look average. And we'll get on to maybe some of the man of the match contenders. There were quite a few, by the way, but everyone played their part, and I thought was fantastic. So yeah, before we get into it, just wanted to sort of recognise the sad passing of Dave Mehmet, who passed away, I think, a couple of days ago now. And obviously there was a minute's applause before the game for him. So credit to everyone involved in that, including the Leicester fans. And share my condolences with his family. Okay, so let's start as we always do with the lineup. Well, the lineup was the same that played against Huddersfield, and it was bizarre, particularly given the comments, as I said, that Harris made at the start, in the week. So the lineup was what it was, which was Sarkic, back four of Ryan Leonard, who must have been 9 consecutive games he's played now, and he has a habit of playing 8 or 9 and then getting injured. So, and we'll learn just how vital he was in the game today for sure, and I'm sure he will be for the rest of the season. By the way, Ryan Leonard, he hasn't got a contract next season, and I'm telling you, the amount of teams that have stuck £10 million wingers up against him this season, and he's come out on top every single time. There'll be teams looking at him thinking he could be a good squad player. We need to get his contract signed up. We really do. So yeah, that's important. Anyway, going off a tangent, Tanganga and Cooper. I was surprised we didn't see Hutch come back into the side. If I'm honest, I was surprised with that. Danny Mack continued at left back. 2 centre midfielders, Saville and Billy Mitchell. Honeyman, Longman wide, Fleming just behind Obafemi. So yeah, I was surprised. I expected a couple of changes, as I said. But what I would say is, when you look at the bench, there was no Joe Bryan. Tom Bradshaw was back, but he's clearly not fit to start. Obviously, still no Nisbet. I don't think Imaku's fully fit. There was no Duncan Watmore. Obviously, Murray Wallace not available. So this squad is threadbare. And it is a team that is put together with players that are probably half injured and carrying knocks. You can't tell me that Leonard is 100% fit. Players that are aging, and then players that are on loan. It's a squad that is a bit mismatched and assembled in a way. And that's why, in all honesty, when you get performances like tonight, you just got to take your hat off, because one to a man, they were outstanding. But that was the team that started. And we start very, very quickly. So we have a chance, literally, it wasn't even after a minute. We win a free kick, which we're good at doing in those areas. I'm sure it's something we play for. The ball is whipped in, and we find ourselves, we obviously beat their offside trap, and there's about 3 or 4 queuing up, and Longman gets his head to it. But unfortunately, I think it was on target, but didn't trouble the goalkeeper. But it was a good chance. We then have another good chance on 4 minutes, where a really good ball from Leonard finds Honeyman free in the box, but he just can't quite bring it down. I think it was Ricardo that manages to get back. And just whilst I mentioned Ricardo, Leicester made some changes, but their side is just, on paper, it's got to be one of, if not the best sides that's ever been seen in the Championship. You know, they've got just talent in abundance. Even when you look at their forward line, right? You know, you look at obviously Jamie Vardy, which I'm led to believe still on 95 grand a week, by the way. Patson Daka on the bench, £23 million signing a couple of years ago. Iheanacho on the bench. Tom Cannon, I think they spent between 8 and 10 million on him in the summer. Obviously scored against us in the cup. It doesn't even get on the pitch. A midfield three of Dewsbury Hall that, you know, I'm sure is probably a £20 million player. Harry Winks and Wilfred Ndidi. Like it's just the plethora of talent they've got. They've got Wout Faes, that's a Belgium international. Like the talent they have is ridiculous. And yes, they were top of the league, but in my opinion, and I said this, I did a pre-match show with Leicester City fan channel, The Final Whistle. Check it out if you find yourself with 45 minutes spare. But you know, we spoke about. I was asked a question in terms of what do I make of Leicester this season. I think ultimately they're performing how they should be with the players they've got, and obviously a manager that's learnt his trade under Pep. But anyway, we're being sidetracked there. So a lot of players, a lot of good quality, fresh legs as well. They're able to mix their team up, which obviously we didn't. On 5, they have a chance where Mavididi does Saville like a kipper on the for pace. But then he blows that chance because he plays the ball way too far ahead of him, and Sarkic manages to come out and smother it. There was a period of time around 18 minutes where they kind of grew into the game. I think they had a half chance through Jamie Vardy. And the effort levels from the players, you could really see. And my question at that point, and I've written in my notes here, was the fans started to appreciate the efforts. I think that we started to grow into it and we could see just how much they were working and pressing, and they were running for a brick wall. And it was just, could we keep that intensity up? I thought Obafemi's work rate was superb, and this was reflective on 34 minutes where he goes on a real mazy run, only unfortunately for it to break down at the last minute. And then we have the other main chance of the game in the first half, where another good ball in from Ryan Leonard. Jake Cooper meets it, but he'll probably be disappointed with that. And another weak header from Cooper. I'm not sure what's happened to him this season in terms of in the opposition box. He's not as effective, and he'll be disappointed with that, I'm sure. One note I've made is that they had, I believe, 3 or 4 corners in the first half, and Zian Fleming met them all. He was very, very effective when defending the first half, defending the first contact ball from corners into the box. Half time, you know, for me, when I was sitting at half time, I thought that Leicester were poor, and there was no way they were going to be as poor as that in the second half. And then my concern was we had chances, we hadn't taken them, and I felt the players would run out of steam. That was how I felt at half time. The second half starts, and Honeyman, who had gone down in the first half, I think he got a shoulder injury and taken some painkillers to carry on. He goes off for Romain Esse on 51. And again, I'll be totally honest with you. I turned to my old man and I said, I wouldn't make that change. Again, just being honest, I personally would have probably brought on Brook or maybe even Imaku over Esse. And that turned out to be, in terms of bringing Esse on for Honeyman, an outstanding decision, because I thought Esse, it was the best cameo performance I think Esse's given since maybe ever, to be honest. I thought he was excellent, Romain Esse, not just in his work going forwards, but defensively. He seemed to be really sticking to the brief that Harris had given him, knowing when to press. And by the way, I often hear, especially when teams like Leicester come down, they had 72% possession today. I often hear the crowd going, "Oh, come on, Millwall, get in their faces, press them." And no, you press at the right times. The way in which we did this under Rowett, and we do the same under Harris, right? We basically give their centre backs the ball, and then we choose the moment to then step on and press, usually when one of the ball if they try to shift the ball over between their centre backs, they played with 3 centre backs, then we go and press. But we let the likes of Vestergaard have the ball because he's not the best on the ball. So you don't need to press that. You're better off holding your shape. And we did that. And when SA came on, he did that as well. I've noted down here a really good block from a goal-bound effort, or certainly on target effort from Cooper on 55. And then we score that goal. And it's on 58 minutes. And we start to break forwards. Billy Mitchell plays the ball out wide to Ryan Longman. And Ryan Longman just drives. And I'm sure it's up against Ricardo Pereira, who's a captain, a Portuguese international, and a Premier League player. He drives, he does him up like a kipper, cuts inside on his right foot. And it is a goal that is worthy of winning any game. It is an outstanding strike from Ryan Longman. Top corner. There's nothing better than seeing a goal where it hits the bar, bounces down and goes in. And it is an incredible goal. It is a goal of the season contender. Very similar, actually, to the goal he scored against Rotherham. I think, was it his debut or one of his first games when we beat them at home 3-0 earlier on in the season when he did join on loan for us. This one was better, but very similar sort of finish. And it was just an absolutely outstanding goal. And it was representative, I think, of the second half performance, which had moments of quality, but just a lot of individual battles being won all over the pitch. And that was a good example of Longman beating his man, cutting in and scoring that fantastic goal. They have then a half-decent chance on 63. I think it's well held, but I think the ball comes into the box, well held by Sarkic. Then on 68, we should make it 2-0. SA plays a great ball through into Michael Obafemi, who turns inside Vestergaard, then turns back outside of Wout Faes. Wout Faes tries to sort of outmuscle him, but Obafemi's strong. He carries on. And my immediate reaction was maybe should have gone down, but having watched it back quickly in the car on the way home, I don't think he'd have got anything for that. Strong, drives into the box, and then all he's got to do is just roll it to the side of the keeper. But unfortunately, he does all the hard work and then misses that opportunity. I've seen a lot of fans say Obafemi can't hit a barn door. And, you know, maybe there's some truth to that, but he gets into positions just like that one there that we don't have another player that would get into that position. He was playing up against 3 Premier League centre-backs, at least 2 of which are internationals. I'm not sure on Doyle. And I personally felt they were shit scared of him all game until he went off. And the only reason he went off, I would imagine, is because they're trying to make sure that they can get 90 minutes out of Bradshaw and him for tonight and then against Cardiff. And I thought Obafemi was outstanding tonight. I thought it was his best performance for us yet. His hold-up play, his work rate, everything that maybe he didn't do against Huddersfield, I thought he was excellent tonight. And he got a standing ovation when he did eventually go off for the returning Tom Bradshaw. But we're not quite there yet. We had a couple of other opportunities. Another sort of time where sort of Leonard just bursts forwards, and then Longman has another great run that unfortunately results to nothing. We then have another chance where some good link-up play by SA and Leonard down the right-hand side on 75. Crosses it over, brilliant cross to the back post when Longman's a whisker away of getting on the end of it and heading it in. And then it sort of gets to that squeaky bum time, right? 77 minutes. At this point, they've made lots of changes. You know, they brought on the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, quality player at this level. Fatuwu, who is just lightning quick up against Danny Mack. You know, Dennis Pratt, who's very, good in the middle of the park. James Justin, who's a super fullback. Like, just the players they have available is just, and Patson Daka ends up coming on. And it's how can we hold, can we hold on? We don't make changes sort of straight away. I think Harris wants to try and keep the shape and keep the continuity. On 81, they have, for my opinion, at that point, their best chance of the game. This was the first time I felt they cut us open. And Ricardo from the right-hand side takes a shot. He went near post. In hindsight, he probably should have cut across the goalkeeper. but a decent save from Sarkic, but one you would expect him to make. Then between 81 and 92, I've noted down lots of possession for Leicester. And as I said, they had 72% possession, but I would imagine a big portion of that was them fanning around with it at the back. And I just look, if you're a Leicester fan, you're probably thinking Millwall's football in the eye is not very pleasing. It's probably kick and hoof and whatever. And I wouldn't disagree with that. But I personally couldn't watch football like the way Leicester play it, where they just play it around at the back, constant passes between the back three. It's boring. I couldn't have it. But then they do go on to create two very good opportunities. And one is on 92, which, let's be honest, it's a certain goal. Only for Billy Mitchell to do something that, in my opinion, is as good as a goal, which is to head it off the line when he's running back behind and somehow scoop it up and above over the bar. It was absolutely outstanding. And, at times I've often talked about being a Billy Mitchell fan. Billy Mitchell gets a lot of criticism, but one thing that he never backs away of is effort. And I thought tonight, bearing in mind he was playing against the midfield three, him and Saville, the work rate of the pair of them, and then obviously this being epitomised by Billy Mitchell's 92nd minute header off the line, just outstanding. That is as good as a goal. Was absolutely superb, and it was rightly celebrated like a goal. That wasn't the last chance that they had, though. So they also had another chance where Danny Mac had a good game overall, but this was the one time where he got absolutely skinned, by Fatuwu, who's lightning anyway, but obviously he's very fresh. Beats him all end up. Danny Mac tries to bring him down, can't. He gets the ball across goal, and then a near post header from, I think it was Patson Daka, gets it all wrong. It's a really good opportunity. I think Tango's there, but in reality, he should do much better, to be honest with you. And then we're really, I think that was sort of 94, 95, and then we managed to close the game out. And it's a typical Millwall thing where Ryan Leonard boots the ball down the line, and like everyone's sort of getting nervous as to whether it's going to go out for a goal kick or a throw in. Everything was being celebrated, and that second half, and there was probably 8,000 Millwall fans there tonight. The official attendance will say more, but that second half, the atmosphere and just the way it felt was just fantastic. And I think it made it even better that no one really saw this coming. You're probably not a Millwall fan if you didn't think that there was a chance we could lose to Rotherham and Huddersfield and beat Leicester. But after the performance against Huddersfield, I don't think anyone really saw this coming. We hold on. I think the referee quite rightly got a bit of criticism from both sets of players. I think he got certain things wrong. In my opinion, Harry Winks could have been sent off in the first half for simulation. But then at the same time, maybe they felt he didn't punish some of our time wasting enough, although he did add on 7 minutes. So look, the standard of officiating in this league is terrible as it is. But anyway, we won't dwell on that. We see the game out, we win the game, and it's just what a performance. Honestly, what a performance. Every single player deserves credit. And as I said at the start, in my opinion, the second half performance was the best we played all season under any of the three managers. And Neil Harris and the players deserve a lot of credit, because to bounce back from 2 long trips up north where you've got no points against poor sides, and then to come at home and beat a team that has got fresh legs, that is, the leaders of the league, and to put in the effort levels and the shift that they put in, I think everyone needs to be commended. So quite rightly, we criticise them and call them out when they're poor, but they all have to be given a lot of credit for today. And I think what's ironic is if we didn't lose to Huddersfield in the last minute, I personally don't think we win the game tonight. I think that gave whatever happened in the dressing room after Huddersfield, whatever happens in between that game and today, I think that gave us the impetus to kick up the arse to go and win tonight. And Neil Harris come out and said he will pick a team that will run through brick walls. He then picked the same 11 that he played against Huddersfield, but by God, did they run through brick walls tonight. Every single one of them played out of their skin. For Leicester, probably a carbon copy of the Bristol City game for you. Another 1-0 loss. It looks like you struggle to beat teams that play with a low block. And we suit playing against teams like you. You know, we are not good when we play with against teams that give us 50% of the ball. We don't have many players that can go and utilize the ball in a way to affect games. What we do have is a lot of players that are very good in shape defensively, that can play well on counter-attacking football and set pieces, and are good at winning second balls. That's why we are better against teams like Leicester, and that's probably why against Cardiff we'll struggle again on Saturday. I'm fully expecting it, but that is why we are better against these teams. You know, I've said this many times before, but the only team that we're beaten when we've had 50% possession or more in the last 12 months is Rotherham. And that says it all. We're no good with the ball. And I think tonight was a perfect example. 28% possession. We had more shots on target than Leicester did with 28% possession. Say no more. It was only the fourth game all season in the league that Leicester haven't scored. So again, to keep a clean sheet, throwing bodies on the line, even Jake Cooper, you know, I've been very critical of Jake Cooper, but a lot of blocks, throwing his body on the line. You know, I thought Sarkic had a decent game, collected everything he needed to, held everything. And that clean sheet will do in the world of good. It was just a superb performance. We now find ourselves with the results that have happened this evening. Some went our way, some didn't. No one won, which was good, but obviously there was a few draws. But we find ourselves now 4 points clear of the bottom three, although Birmingham play tomorrow night. Coincidentally, we'll be supporting Cardiff tomorrow night, but we certainly won't be on Saturday. So Birmingham host Cardiff tomorrow. Stoke and Swansea play each other, which is probably a good thing for us. And then think Blackburn are away at a good side. I can't remember who. So, look, there's lots to play for. My opinion is, I think if we beat Plymouth, which is a long way away, so we can't rely on that. So I'm not sitting here suggesting for 1 second that we do nothing until we play Plymouth. But I think if we beat Plymouth, we're safe. Plymouth have Leicester on Saturday, which I'm sure you will be looking to bounce back. So hopefully, Leicester fans, you can do us a favour. Right. So in terms of man of the match, so I just want to say that I felt every single player was excellent tonight. There wasn't anyone that played badly. I thought everyone put a shift in. Everyone worked tirelessly. The only blip, obviously, is George Honeyman potentially being injured. We could do without that, but obviously he looked like he had a shoulder injury and he took painkillers. So I'm just hoping that that's nothing too serious, because we could really do with keeping the group we've got now fit. And I'm hopeful, you know, the amount of effort we expended today, will they be ready to go again on Saturday, or do we need to make some changes? I guess we will find out. But I want to, it's really difficult to pick a man of the match tonight, but I'm going to give it to, in my opinion, the player of the season for us, which is Ryan Leonard. He has come up against, as I said earlier, so many 10, 15, 20 million pound wingers. And I can't remember a game where anyone has got the better of him. Tonight, I felt that he had Mavididi largely in his pocket. Again, I said, I did Ryan Leonard a disservice actually on my when I did the pre-match with Leicester in the week, and I said we were talking about the lineup, and I said, you know, Ryan Leonard's probably our best one-on-one defender at the club. And I probably did him a disservice there, because he's probably one of the best in the league at one-on-one defending. And I'm not exaggerating. You know, he's proven that time and time and time again. And Mavididi will know, and he'll be frustrated. You could sense he was. He beat him once or twice, but it never came to anything. But Ryan Leonard was just absolutely outstanding. His blocks, his clearances, his tackles, and just even some of the balls he put in the box, his effort level. He was absolutely fucking phenomenal. He really was. And he get his contract sorted out, Millwall, because yes, he's not going to play 46 games a season, but for the 30 odd he's available, in my opinion, he is one of the best defenders one-on-one in the league. Honourable mentions then. So Billy Mitchell deserves an honourable mention for that goal-saving header off the line alone. I also thought his effort levels, him and Sav, for what they had, the shift they had to put in against those three that Leicester played in the middle, were excellent. But the two other honourable mentions for me would be Ryan Longman, which I've never understood the criticism he got. Ryan Longman is a player on loan to us, and whether he is the best player in the world, no, he's not. But he gives everything for this team, and he's only on loan to us. He doesn't have to give a shit, and he gets a lot of criticism. And I'll be honest, I've never understood it. He's not the best player in the world, but he's not the worst. And he's versatile. He gives everything for the club. He's scored a couple of important goals, including tonight, match winner. I'm not sitting here saying he's a brilliant player because I don't think he is, but he's an honest, hard-working Millwall type player. And I personally would sign him in the summer. And I'm not just saying that based on his goal tonight, but his goal was excellent. I thought his defensive work rate was outstanding. And he got the official man of the match. And for me, he comes close. The other person that comes close for me is Michael Obafemi. I thought his hold-up play, his work rate in the channels, some of the runs, they were shit scared of him. He's got pace and power to burn. And you can see where there are elements of him being a Premier League striker. There's no doubt about it. And you've got to understand as well, he's being asked to play a role that he's probably never played before in terms of being that lone focal point of a side that has 30% possession every game. So, yes, at times in the last couple of weeks, he's looked a little bit disinterested, but tonight it was anything but. And I thought he was outstanding. And I'm gutted for him about him missing that chance on 68 because he really did deserve that goal for his effort levels and his performance alone. And hopefully, by Harris taking him off and bringing Bradshaw on, who was great to see him back, by the way, we're able to get another 90 minutes out of the pair of them on Saturday. The final person I want to talk about, difficult to give him man of the match because he was only on the pitch for 40 minutes, but I thought it was Romain Esse's best 40 minutes in a Millwall shirt. He was involved in pretty much everything we did going forwards from that point onwards. His defensive work was excellent. He was good in shape. He knew when to press. He knew when not to. He is one of very few players we have that can beat a man. And I thought he was excellent tonight. And, maybe he's putting himself in the shop window for Leicester if and when they go up. But look, I thought he was excellent. And, you've got players there like Ryan Longman, Ryan Leonard, Michael Obafemi, and Romain Esse that, in my opinion, as well as obviously Billy Mitchell, which I've just named after the fucking team, but there we go, that have got us, just everything they've done is I'm losing my words now. Just outstanding performances. It really, really was. And as I say, in hindsight, I honestly reckon if we didn't get beat Huddersfield in the last minute, we wouldn't have put that performance out tonight and we wouldn't have beat Leicester. So there you go. And we now have won another game at home. That's 10 points from 12 from Harris at home. You say what you want about the man, but you can certainly get us playing at home. And it did feel like a cup tie at times, didn't it, tonight? And all of a sudden, we've got a bit more momentum. We go into Saturday. Yes, the players, I'm sure, will be very tired from it. But we hope that Cardiff can do a favour for us tomorrow night. And then we beat them on Saturday. And then I think, in all honesty, avoid defeat to Plymouth. And we're probably over the line. What a difference a week makes. What a difference a performance makes. I'm absolutely buzzing. I don't know if I'm going to be out of sleep tonight. The time is now 11:15. So I've recorded this straight as when I've got in. We're going to get it out straight away. Thanks as always for listening. Really do appreciate it. And I'll see you down again Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.